It is time for another Stop and Jot. Grab your handout so you can jot down a few key ideas related to material we have covered since the last recap. We know that writing is not a simple, nice, neat, linear process, but one that requires flexibility as young writers figure out the nuances of writing. Since writing can sometimes be messy and even scary, it is important that the classroom reflects a supportive environment, an environment that reflects enthusiasm. It is important that you are excited during writing time, as this will override confusion. If you are excited, they will be excited. Choice. Give students some choice in what they write, especially at the beginning, as it is easier to write about what you know. Time. Provide time for students to get their writing space ready. Writers need to be comfortable. Risks. Be sure students know that you value their approximations, so it is okay to take a risk. And the last big consideration in establishing a supportive environment is feedback. Constantly be providing constructive feedback as you lean into their work during their writing, and also teach the students how to also provide strong constructive feedback to each other. Once we established the key conditions needed for a supportive writing environment, we began talking about the 6 steps in the writing process. Let's start off with pre-writing, the first step in the writing process, where students organize ideas, set goals, and explore topics. Pre-writing includes planning and oral rehearsal and is an essential step because it activates prior knowledge and creates a roadmap for writing. Drafting is the stage in the writing process where students create a preliminary version of their thoughts. As writers draft, their focus is on getting ideas on paper rather than perfecting conventions. Primary grade writers need consistent time for drafting, and by gradually increasing this time, you help them build stamina. The rereading step involves students in oral rereading of their drafts, while asking themselves writers' questions that push their thinking by teaching students to ask writers' questions, like, "What am I trying to say?" or "What do I need to add now?" The revising step is where young writers enhance the clarity and meaning of their pieces. This can include simple actions like adding details to a picture, labeling a diagram, or changing a word here or there. It is important to emphasize to writers that revising is to improve the communication with their readers, not to fix their mistakes. After revising, primary grade writers engage in editing, which is when they review and correct their texts to the best of their abilities. Editing makes the writing look right as they attend to conventions, spelling, etc. Polishing and presenting is the final step in the writing process, and is where students add any final touches needed to be sure their writing meets the needs of their audience as best it can with their current skills. The next lesson focused on the connection between the science of reading and writing, and 2 big connections were made. The first being simply that even though the science of reading focuses on how we learn to read, not on how we learn to write, there is an extremely strong connection between writing and the SOR body of research, because of the reciprocity of the 2 processes. Reading and writing are reciprocal processes. The 2 go hand in hand and should be taught together. The second big concept we covered was the primary grade writing rope. We discussed that this was an adaptation of the writing rope developed by Joan Sedita and was modified to identify 5 skill areas needed for skilled writing, similar to the reading rope. The components provide a guide for understanding the requisite knowledge and skills that students intertwine as they write. Like in reading, background knowledge provides a firm foundation, while readers use this knowledge to make sense of text. Writers must explicitly articulate their ideas, requiring a more robust grasp of the same information. Similarly, literacy knowledge, which is valuable for both readers and writers. Readers use this knowledge to comprehend the meaning of the text, whereas writers blend literacy knowledge with craft techniques to compose texts. The third knowledge strand that appears in the writing rope is vocabulary knowledge. Many of the same strategies used to enhance vocabulary knowledge for readers pay off for writers. Writers learn to select precise words from hearing a variety of texts about a topic through wide reading and direct instruction. Understanding language structure, including syntax and semantics, supports both reading comprehension and writing skills. Finally, Integrating decoding and encoding, spelling lessons, helps students understand and apply word structures and patterns. The final lesson in this recap centers around the teaching of the genres, or types of writing. The first big idea we discussed was a review of the four-step method for teaching genres. The four-step method for teaching genres is a systematic approach that supports students as they write narrative, informational, and opinion pieces. During Step 1, Build Background, immerse students in the genre. You immerse students in the skills needed with mentor texts, thus increasing their understanding of the features of each genre, which provides a firm foundation for their writing. After immersing students in the genre, use what you've learned together to move on to Step 2, Model. We should never underestimate the power of modeling. Students gain so many insights when you demonstrate your own writing in a particular genre. Step 3, Support. Teach elements and strategies can happen at any stage of the writing process. In this stage, we support writers with focused instruction about the overall structure, style elements, and strategies they can employ to create that particular genre. And when students are ready, little by little, you progress toward Step 4, Nudge toward independence. This is where teachers gradually release their level of support until students are able to apply what they've learned on their own. We focused on these 4 steps as we addressed the 3 genres or types of writing expected for primary grade students to be able to write: narrative, informational, and opinion. Our discussion of these types of writing included defining each in student-friendly terms, outlining key benefits of each type, using mentor texts to help students better understand the genre-specific characteristics of each writing type, and providing strategies and visual aids to help young writers hold on to the structural framework of each type of writing. A very quick recap of each of the 3 follows. Narrative writing tells a story with the purpose to entertain the reader. The structural framework consists of a beginning, middle, and end structured around basic story elements. Informational writing provides facts with the purpose of informing the reader about the natural or social world. This form of writing has a global structure of beginning, middle, end structured around a topic introduction, facts, and topic closure, and the facts in the middle can be organized in a variety of ways, depending on the specific type of informational writing being used. And the last type of writing we discussed was opinion writing. Opinion writing provides facts in the form of reason, as the purpose is to convince the reader to agree with the stated opinion. Opinion writing also has global structure of beginning, middle, end structured around a strong statement of an opinion, reasons to support the opinion, and a restatement of the opinion. Wow! That was a lot of information recapped quickly, but I hope it helped pull back a few key takeaways from each of the 3 lessons addressed in this Stop and Jot. Before we wrap up, please take a minute to think about your current writing instructional practices and see where these big ideas might filter in to strengthen those practices.